behind at every moment. When the play came out outside, Wonderful did not shoot anything through the smoke. There was no pressure to break open those smokes on the cross. And then the inside push came in. Rops heard everything. No one died for Vitality. He played his position very safely. And then when they got downstairs, running through that molly, Apex didn't even really take that much damage. And he knew that once he crosses the vent, he's in total safety. It's Na'Vi who are super scared. They had only rotated one down, and usually you can get the smoke out, the molly, and delay a little bit. But Vitality were very aware of how much pressure they had put on the map. If they're going to go for lobby retake control, they're not in a position to rotate heavily downstairs. So it was really perfect call.
Apex exposed to Wonderful for a second. I don't think there's any denying that Vitality have a comfort zone on Nuke that Na'Vi would love to have of their own. It's just not the case. So they're gonna leave a bunch of forces up inside of the lobby, maybe because they're ready for Na'Vi to try something like they did in that last round. Little climb up here from JL is the...
You guys like Mezzy, right? Who doesn't like Mezzy? UK's finest, truly, on a generational run here for the island these last few months. And you could say he's the piece that gets carried there. Well, no. If you were watching last map, you've seen Mezzy get better and better by the month. They aren't putting on this streak without him.
There was a weird moment in Vitality
booing when it's anyone but Mezzy on
camp.
camp.
To string events together at all, where it was like, you know, why wasn't Mezzy playing as well as he was, and who was going to get replaced? And when it was Spinks instead of Mezzy, you know, there was people that said it should have been the other way around.
He's the kind of player, like, it's, you know, you move him onto your team, everybody else drops, and then everyone else gets better, everyone benefits from it. Mezzy the most. We know from the Henry G Cloud9 days that Mezzy was always a Swiss Army knife.
Yes, sir.
He was known for having, watching his early demos, even when he was just amateur, he had a lineup for every single nade. Every position that he tried to play for himself, he was super versatile. And then what happened when he got into the top level, they started using him for the harder jobs that are actually less star-focused.
He was a real journeyman in that regard. Felt like he had to do everything to just make a name for himself. And that challenge never stopped, even when he got included at the top of the space.
Props with a lick of damage.
Fast jump over from Flamesy. Again, pistols for the majority, but there's still these lethal M4s out there on the field, now making contact with one in hell. Fast climb up into the A site.
And they all came to look for Robson. Okay.
Hello.
It's just always in the last place you look.
Map like Nuke is just I mean, it's a playground for a guy like Robs.
Oh yeah, all the ladders, man, it's just a H&S map for him.
He gets to show off his movement on top of his lurks. If you have to play against Robs on Nuke, I'm sure you just constantly feel like somebody's breathing down your neck. And that is the case.
Yeah, it's funny because in his career, you know, everyone can look at Robs now and look at Robs on FaZe and then look at Robs on Mouse before and go, okay, well, obviously he was really good. Okay.
Owned. Mezzy, a little bit of bloodlust, maybe too much, but that's some damage that Vitality are going to have to stomach. Luckily, they do come into this site from multiple angles. Bomb will get picked up. All seems to be good, barring a bit headshots that could open up heaven and the chance of a retake. No kit to play with. Hands busy on Apex. Is Bit truly going to take a swing at this 1 versus 3? He's cut it down to 2 players. But the smoke inside of main, which is where he chooses to come in from, really going to play with the timing. And again, emphasis, no kit.
Yeah, he has to hope someone's not watching this. And he is going to make an effort to do so, but they are. Just eyes forward on that smoke. Very smart for Apex. But what I was going to say is retroactively look back on Robs' career, and it's very clear. Like, he's one of the most important players, period, since he became pro.
The guy knows how to win.
It only makes the most sense. It only really proves it since he joined Vitality, right? It's the most clear upgrade that we've seen in some time. At the start of this year, there was debates about whether or not FaZe and Vitality, which one would be better. And it was fine to entertain that because you have FaZe very stacked. They're changing roles. Rob's going over to Vitality. Yeah, but Spinks is also really great. And they have a major with them. Who's going to be better? Well, now it's like, well, obviously this was the move.
And just building off of really the wins
that grand finals.
He brought FaZe Clan, right? Yeah. So he's already kind of got that one in his back pocket, and now he's trying to take it to this whole new height. To bring Vitality their first CS2 major championship.
We're also
that is the hunt.
everyone gets so well-rounded now. You know, Robs has become more well-rounded. He used to be too slow playing on the lurks. Spinks has also become more well-rounded. As he's become more well-rounded, Zywoo has become more well-rounded, bringing out the X factor, taking things into his own hands.
You got to say his name, Mohan. Apex has become more well-rounded.
Oh, yeah, true. True, he epitomizes it.
That is why this has become the most winning team in CS2 history. But it's all about this Austin major.
Right.
Or there will forever be a smudge on this season. Move up from Secret, perhaps? Yeah. Emek gonna clip the wings of Apex. Ramp challenge for Bit to have to handle. He is very much alone. And the pack of Vitality players are gonna get through him before he can truly retreat down into the helping hands of Emek, who has done this silently.
Yeah, Zywoo's actually coming back around to the lobby, which is not what you normally see in this position. He might try to get into Secret or something like that, but here he's coming in basically late to Squeaky. JL is waiting for him. No way. Does Zywoo clear this?
Yes, of course. Zywoo clears
my
everything.
Goodness. This actually opens up a way back up if they want to go.
Emek's making a move, though. Shadow advantage for only a second.
Insane.
And then that single defender towards door at 45 seconds is hoping that the commitment and the bomb comes towards him.
They're in the Goldilocks zone. They can make any decision to make it work, and they take downstairs at the same time.
I mean, talk about comfort zone. You just hit that big pause button. You wait a second, you let Zywoo find a chance, some sort of a thread to pull on, and then the pressure of losing your piece inside of lobby, you see what it does. Forces Emek into what was 2Ts waiting for him.
It's a chain reaction, right? I can't believe Zywoo finds that option, because normally that guy would come late Secret, cover it, catch a mini player rotating down the long way, whatever. Instead he goes back to lobby and hard clears JL, who's pushed in. That's just beautiful gameplay out of Zywoo. Absolutely amazing. And then, obviously, Emma starts pushing because they're confused. He's going back to the lobby. Well, now they open up vent. They could leave.
No, I love that element of Zywoo's play. He's, you know, somebody we speak about as someone who always has his like third eye open in a round of Counter-Strike. Doesn't seem to get caught off by timings. If you can shoot Zywoo in the back, usually I feel like it's because one of his teammates has missed the timing, not him himself. Add to that, Rob's just collecting kills down towards B.
Like, Zywoo makes it feel like it's an upper hit. Then they start punishing players who are trying to rotate back up, right? It's just pristine here for Vitality once again. It is easy being a Vitality fan right now. You know, yesterday we had our expectations subverted with a, 5-0 down Maus into a comeback, into a really clean third map. Not really getting that same energy out of Navi just yet.
Here we go, fast play. Vitality think they've got a chance to punish. Got to be careful. There's threat on the field of Wonderful and Bit. You're already down into the B site. What's this MP9 gonna do?
Yeah,
Long-range challenge against Robs? Yeah, I don't think so. So bomb planted a minute 30 in this one. Clear-cut game plan from Vitality. Total read of the situation, and they keep Navi at bay.
They have their cake and they eat it too, with Flamesy pushing through the squeaky smoke. That's that art play, right, from old school Furia days. He goes through the squeaky smoke, everyone else behind him goes down vent, and the CTs are forced to fight the guy who pushes through, but they can't stop 3 players from getting downstairs. Here, he pushes through, no one's there to fight him, no one's pressuring the vent at all, so he just goes back down. No deaths in this round for Vitality so far.
And they played it out of the gate like that was gonna be the case.
Yeah, they were playing to sack Flamesy in that play. So, neat and tidy here for Vitality.
You got Mezzi tapping back into the potential he showed us on Mirage. Strong start out of him. You got Zywoo winning the rounds he's supposed to.
I said old school Furia, 2019. That's old school for esports, right?
I think so,
yes.
Yeah. Counter-Strike moves fast. I mean, the updates don't, but the esports does.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's just excellent. In and out. This is just... And what it really shows you is that Navi were just in no way prepared for this option. They obviously didn't have the greatest gun, so just a good call from Vitality. QB sneak down the vents.
Really having their way with this T-side so far. Guns back in hand. Maui Snake highlighted Alexi B's struggles on this map specifically, and we've gotten more of it. 2 and 6. Critical position outside every single round. Bit nearly finding the timing to get the better of a duel, but it's only 20 damage. Luckily for the Na'Vi side, you've got Wonderful's opposition downstairs early. No pressure on the vents, really allowed for that one to happen.
And they're gonna see the bomb.
So it's all about a recovery here in round number 8, and that bomb just gets scooped right back up.
Yeah.
But still a challenge for Flames. You got a Garage player tucked really deep in there and so many others ready to go for the swing. You know, this is Na'Vi kind of frothing at a chance to win a round to get the CT side back in control. And with 5 players still standing versus only ZywOo. I mean, guys, it's only ZywOo. This one should be Na'Vi's third. Don't you dare.
Says no to the upgrade. 40 seconds left.
Little swagger from ZywOo. I'm here for it. Can he piece together anything else? 35 seconds on the clock.
Obviously, they're still worried about it.
A-site very occupied. To break through Alexi's angle and then into JL is a tall order, but a second kill right there for the taking. JL's gonna save him. Alexi a sitting duck, but he makes a great distraction.
Throw a couple back for Na'Vi. That's a solid round. Oh. Okay.
I said Na'Vi, we're frothing.
Hopefully the floor is thirsty. Yep, that's what he was feeling.
So that
That's
streak
what the
of
French do, right?
Yes, of
Right
course.
before they're about to do something sneaky.
It's all in the hands. And the French, they're a sneaky people. 5 terrorist round wins in a row for Vitality comes to an abrupt halt, but that doesn't mean
Cameraman caught someone doing something awkward.
Wonderful, just trying to dodge these bullets, gets away with it at half health. Exposed almost on main, but Flamesy's got the coverage from up above. Alexi B is crossing paths and he doesn't know it. Suddenly,
knife out.
somebody's gonna find themselves back turned, and there it is. Apex with the element of surprise as the outer yard falls to Vitality's favor again. JL is desperate to get into the action, and while he peels one off of lobby, there is spam coming through main. JL gonna turn back to that duel, and it's gonna set up a Mezzy situation to perfection. So frantically trying to get into these rounds, but Vitality slapping them left and right.
Yeah, and that was the conductor right there of the orchestra in that round. The credit card swipe from Apex to get underneath the scope of Wonderful. All these cross smokes outside had Na'Vi so confused. Full control here for Vitality. The watchful eye of Flamesy on mini. Huh?
Am I crazy, or did Apex cross through that smoke with a knife out?
Yeah. He literally walked through the smoke with a knife out, then switched out, got underneath the scope of Wonderful. Just knew what was going to happen next.
That's
you know?
sane.
It was like a bad movie right there. They just knew everything was going to happen.
Na'Vi with a second timeout. Blade wants in somehow, some way. You have to fine-tune the CT side to get more out of it. A pistol, a conversion, a singular CT round win since. That is all that makes up Na'Vi's half.
And that's a round that shows us Vitality can play any type of CS, whether it's structured, fast, creative, and now Na'Vi have to show us they can do that.
Yeah. God, this game is millimeters and milliseconds. Or inches, yards, and miles. Fire in front of him.
This is a stressful position for Na'Vi. Nuke is a map that can take all the utility and all the time, and they are on good guns, but very low on useful grenades. No mollies left here for the CT side. They'll be going up against it all here, especially in the default. And there's nothing on the cross right now. I don't know if an upper hit will be easier to stop or not, but that's what's coming. Here it comes.
Fire to deal with. Uncomfortable for JL. Beautiful damage here from Flamesy. It's Rops to finish it up. ZywOo right behind him. And again, it is just a scrambling Na'Vi. You know, there's so many different looks from Vitality, and their hits come in so suddenly. playing with time, tempo, and direction. And every single piece of this Vitality formula is coming to fruition in this quarterfinals now, having a field day on their map pick of
Insane.
Nuke.
A man had a pre-aim on the save up the stairs. Can't even leave on his watch. And it's not like Vitality are egoing them. They played that round carefully. They drew out tons of utility. That was... Oh,
Head dunk.
that guy looks like he has a future in Counter-Strike, if you ask me. I mean, we got to a spot where Na'Vi just... They didn't know what could happen next. Vitality threw so many things at them because they had this great economic advantage, which they continue to have.
Gonna have to start to see some acts of desperation. There's one flash through, but the flash goes into the other room of lobby. Mezzi and Rob's able to hold this back, keeping Na'Vi at bay despite the continuous aggression. There we go. You want it, you gotta fight for it. And Na'Vi will do exactly that in the dying few rounds of this CT side. The second attempt of MP9 aggression breaks through. Bit takes to the rooftop. And of course, Vitality leaning as far back as need be.
Yeah, he's sitting in spawn. Is he gonna read another, like, super long timing?
Unbelievable.
He's got the push
His
outside.
hands are
This
off
is
his
gonna
keyboard.
Make it a 2
He
for
has
2.
one hand on it. And that's why it gets away for a second. All too easy for Zywoo.
This round is very much alive. You know, you would never expect to find someone in that spot, and now they can create a connection into Squeaky. The map's opened up a lot. The CTs will be guessing. They're looking to go hip to hip on this. And instantly, control is brought back to the T side.
Just gonna mosey their way into the open A site. Na'Vi trying to make moves to stay close. Alexi could be the hero of this one. Never mind, it's wonderful. And it's Zywoo to a clutch. Wipes his forehead and knows the work's about to begin. To push this one over the line, they start to emerge. And Alexi's gonna
wow.
bust him. You want it, Na'Vi, fight for it. Those MP9s put Vitality on a back foot. And at the very least, it's 4 rounds of a CT side.
Great deagle shot in from Wonderful. He made it look easy, but if he didn't hit that one, probably isn't going to get the kill. This was such a good kill, such a good, I don't know how they were covering these spots. Almost always Zywoo's moves, honestly. 1 kill and everything like that, but Na'Vi need every little bit right now.
Trying to get whatever they can.
A 5th is possible. Full strength buy coming into round 12.
Looking to end on a high note. Would give you that extra sliver of confidence for what will be a difficult T-side ahead. Winning the op duel is Zywoo.
He does it all, man.
But Alexi B has slipped into a very curious position. He decides to execute Apex. Looking to capitalize here, but he is stuck in, and they will not let him go for free, and there's no support in this situation. Alexi goes full commitment with nobody else nearby. Next up's going to be Ema. Hopes to blindside Zywoo, will do exactly that.
Oh, that's nice, but they know they're weak somewhere else. There's only 3 players on the map, so secret push immediately. Ema runs away from it.
This constant back and forth, this tug of war that's going down in his last couple rounds.
Oh, Vitality reading the rotation so well. There's players outside, one downstairs. It's just JL. We saw the sign up for him. JL hasn't gotten in the series yet. It's time to shine.
Here's his chance. He swings in as they line up. And that's one of those shots that just could have been so much more. Fast reaction out of Robs to drop him back sight. And they're still kind of considering the potential for Vitality to have dropped. Bit sat there for a second, pressed against the wall. Now bomb planted front side sight. They're trying to hunt down the points of contact. Eman's gonna catch a back turn to him. Another clutch moment here for Vitality. But Na'Vi are going to grasp at straws. Somehow, someway, building a foundation to build off of. And it is an uphill battle for the second half. A T-side awaits.
Sorry, before we start, can I hear the questions? My scriptwriter he's not here. I have to be here on my own.
Scriptwriter?
I don't know. I don't know. No.
You could talk about the barbecue.
The barbecue? What's that? What do you want me to say? Is there something you like to hear? My writer just usually comes up with something charming or It makes me look a little bit better, but
Yo, bro, I've got something for you.
thank God. What is the deal with graffitis these days? Dosha nade. Wow. Oh, you defused the bomb? Insane. No way. You bought 5 ops? I'm sitting here. Third map, 4 headshots, saving the day. Major MVP. Where is my graffiti? Thank you very much. Can I go now?
Oh, they love to dangle a little hope in front of you, this Na'Vi team. 2 rounds at the tail end of that half, shutting down the clutch attempts of Vitality. Diffuses needed. A 5-round CT side is not a lot to work with. Na'Vi gonna have to dig deep to pull this one out of the hat.
They really will. I mean, all the stats stand against them. We, don't want to talk about out of both sides of my mouth. I know I said it's a major, everything like that. We also have to recognize that Vitality here, they're very excited to play the CT side. There's no questions for them. Lots of questions for Na'Vi. They've got to answer them all right now, or this is going to be a quick day in the office for Vitality. If you're a Na'Vi fan, get loud.
And stay that way. Frag and a Molotov for Alexi. Apex ready to answer to anything that he sees coming. This is a well-stacked ramp room at the moment. You got Mezzi and Rops on a crossfire, and just because of the presence there, just because of that util that bounds out of Vitality, they're gone. What's the backup plan here for Na'Vi? Because we do have wonderful downstairs.
It's a matter of pick your poison. They do have that, but if they can't make the connection out of the vent, they need to try to do the outside cross. The fun part about the outside cross, maybe you get some kills along the way, maybe you lose the round there, but at least it makes it easier to properly get a plant in. It looks like Wonderful might join them for, yeah, I mean, just gonna play it standard. And that's all 3 spotted with the bomb as well. How the rotation's looking.
Maybe Wonderful's position can catch them off guard, but obviously at this point with the timing.
And with the double ramp setup, they got 2 down already.
So Mezzi just leans back. He's gonna give him a little space so that they can take that step out. And then as they do, he's gonna try to pluck them off the bomb site. Missed shots out of Rops reopens the possibility of a Na'Vi pistol.
They gotta take this one by the horns. Bomb's getting planted. How are you gonna 2v3?
Beretta's over towards single, gets the retake going. ZywOo won't miss his shots. ZywOo won't miss a moment to shut down Na'Vi early. A challenge that just suddenly grew far greater as Vitality take the second pistol.
Yeah, just another round in a series of amazing rounds out of him. This is the biggest threat, I think, for Vitality is like Rob's the best ramp player ever. Then you have Mezzi, who's in amazing form. The setup is so good for the rotations, for holding on to ramp itself. A very popular spot to go on pistols. It just takes so few resources. At least they got that plant down.
Forced by to try to pull it off. Nothing but an M4 for Zywu. He awaits your attempt. Huge challenge here for Bit. Top silo with the Deagle.
See, the CTs are happy to play reactive right here. Na'Vi pose a threat absolutely with these smaller guns, but it's really on them to prove they can find some great shots.
Nothing coming out of him just yet. We hit the minute mark. Again, Na'Vi just looking for that thread to pull on. Really hoping Bit could have hit it, but
It's a moment where Lexi B needs to be thinking about the next round and what they're going to do from here, but they've got this. They got a lot invested.
yeah, Tech9 to try to set up the AK. Emet could be the hero. We see Tech9's in front of both of the rifles, in fact. Space creators, and then the kill takers, but nothing. Couple kills on the approach. Vitality so quickly to the answer, ready to react to whatever Na'Vi chuck their way.
Yeah. And with the investment, obviously, there had to be a lot going into that plan. At least they got through the front door, but again, no one is nervous in these spots.
I mean, it's not really any good reason for Vitality to be nervous on Nuke versus Na'Vi. So even less to work with here in round 15. Vitality on the brink of double digits, looking confident. And that confidence is well grounded.
Yeah, it's been earned. All the reps they put in, all the successes they've seen, all the experience they have, and even getting that wonderful moment at Apex saying, even if you whiff, we love you, Flamesy, and then for him to go on to actually bounce back and get some really key frags on Mirage. Just shows you mentally what kind of place they're at.
So similar start to the last round. Na'Vi just looking for that points of contact, any kind of weakness in the defense. Could be Apex if he drops the ball with the FAMAS. Slow approach to the rounds. Na'Vi does not want to give any of these over for free.
That end, no one from Vitality are trying to cross any lines here.
They're just simply not giving Na'Vi what they're looking for. And then eventually at 45 seconds, Zywu sets up Apex. A blind Emez not going to get anything going outer, and then a desperate four-player ramp hit meets Zywu.
Zywu has been straight up prescient about every piece of routing, every timing here. 21 frags, most beautiful scoreline on the server across the series so far. Zywu, he's the one.
A couple of rounds at the end of the first half gave false hope over to the Na'Vi fans.
The way he's led people into bad decisions or found a timing on a flank or just gone out of prep to do something that the moment called for, it's like he's just casting miracles over and over again. This one's just an eco, but
in the zone.
Yeah.
If you're Na'Vi in that case, you just got a smoke grenade in front of you, and Zywu's accurate bullets somehow hitting all their targets. But let's go. Gun rounds for Na'Vi.
The highlights are always going to be flashy when you're out of position. That's why they're not with Zywu.
It's going to happen. It should start now, but Apex floating out here, bolstered by Zywu.
It's a good block on the smoke.
Flashes just keep popping. Zywu gives up his original angle. It is Emet yet again trying to get the ball rolling outside. It's a huge ask of him to try to contend with the pressure that Vitality will put on you outer, but the nade is a little late, so Emet's found a small bit of sanctuary.
Did it nice and early, though. Didn't see anybody else trailing in behind. Late to come back to ramp, but this looks like it could just be a bit of a bait here. Maybe Na'Vi have something good going. It looks like they're just trying to disarm and weaken upstairs. Emma looks like he's actually successfully done that.
Gonna burn up the floor, though, and
yeah.
a well-timed main hit here from Bit, so pressure onto Zywu, 21 and 8. And so as they trickle into the bomb site, he's gonna go down with nothing. It's Flamesy to try to catch him. Another vent player inbound, tons of damage by Rops. Ooh, it's not pretty from Apex, but Rops there to stop it, to slow it down. A Eagle that denies him anything else. But has he done enough damage to set up Apex? Only 18 health here for the IGL. First one basically free. And a quick move by JL with bomb to head downstairs. But what that does is splits up Na'Vi. Apex gonna get caught off by Emet lingering. The first gun round from Na'Vi's T side, and it works.
That was one of the messiest rounds we've seen in the major. There were a lot of missed shots there from multiple players.
Talk us through it.
But I want to skip that part actually, because the setup here for Na'Vi is actually wonderful. They had to use all 5 smokes before a minute's timing just to make sure they had the cross covered outside. Once that block smoke came in, they got Ima downstairs and then made Vitality feel like it was going to be a lower hit. They actually completely tricked them. So they made that as weak of a site upper as possible. Mezzi was pretty much the only guy there at the time that the pressure started coming in. And obviously he wasn't going to be enough to stop that split. So this is just a feather in the cap for Na'Vi. They fully tricked Vitality for once. That was a solid T-side round. They kept it 5v5 for a long time. And you can see right here, a guy with his feet on fire running into a mini fight as a solo site player for that moment. That's how you know you've done something right if you're Alexi B.
They pull it off again. Looks like Vitality gonna get a little more active. Flamesy wasn't ready for that. JL just spawns in the walls. So off man disadvantage now, Vitality. That elusive 11th round. Consecutive rounds.
Oh, we might be gaming if Na'Vi can pick this one up too.
This is what they're looking for. It's been very difficult for Na'Vi to string them together. Frag grenade should land right on Emet. Yeah, that's 51 damage done.
Perfect trajectory. With a step back as well. Squeaky smoke is so important to help stabilize the situation. All your mini rotations, anyone coming up from the vent, it just keeps those T's in the dark, especially if they're relying on that information, and JL was watching it. Looks like the actions come in the way of Leilu here on the ramp, 21 and 9.
Yeah, it looks like he's just gonna miss the timing, huh?
Does he ever really miss the timing?
No, he doesn't. That's what we just kind of talked about back on map 1. And as he oversteps, that first player in Alexi B getting past his expectations, we get the scramble out of what's left of Vitality. Emet gonna hear that first player run. Rob's trying to get down into the B site. Emet wants to secure A, and now they've both gone down the vents. 15 seconds. Oh, and he comes back up. That is unbelievable. That is Mezzi to suddenly throw a wrench in the works of Na'Vi. They thought this A site was under wraps, but instead now you've got Mezzi and Robs both here side by side to work with. JL gets off of the bomb site, and in doing so, he's gonna leave Alexi on his own for at least a little while. Vitality turn around, and it's damage done, but 5 health for JL is enough. Mezzi, do you have this in you? Taps the bomb to try to frazzle them, and Alexi B's gotta come take a look. He will find it. Na'Vi recover regardless of a crazy move up vent.
Merry Man or Spider-Man? I don't know how he pulled that one off. I think we need an icon for that. Well, it took that kill to make that round close, but Na'Vi, they did stabilize. They did stabilize. 2 in a row. They've got Vitality now saving. They put themselves in a great spot.
Apex down. 5v4 versus still just a couple of upgraded pistols. Not for Flamesy, and it looks like he's up next. Trying to do something about main control, but you can't hide, Mezzi, not this time. ZywOo's Desert Eagle is alive only for the 1.
Great shot.
And so they'll get their footing on this A site. Na'Vi cutting it down to a 2-round lead. Austin, I think we've got a game here.
Yeah, very good, Na'Vi. Super solid, especially starting off in that full strength rifle, tricking Vitality.
Yes.
Now earning themselves an eco, building some momentum here from the hard side, from the T side.
Alexi just can't let himself slip up, keeping it in the zone. Full focus, full belief. Not always an easy thing to do when you are down a map. Not an easy thing to do when your season has been atrocious. It's one of the longer standing rosters now in Na'Vi. This is a major championship roster in Na'Vi.
Yeah, in our very late in history, you know, first couple of years of CS2. All right, round 19. Are we gonna build momentum, Alexi? This game is still not won yet.
We talked about the struggles that Alexi may have had outside, but for now, it's kind of an Apex who's been pulled in different directions. He's gonna try to get away with a similar position, and he's gonna hear this stomping going down, but if he thinks there's only one or two players, he's about to find a rude awakening. At least Wonderful from behind is able to catch it. Apex brings Bit with him.
But watch the CT activity now, because that was 3 players confirmed outside. It wasn't just one crossing. Na'Vi in the spot last time. They were very shrewd, didn't immediately commit lower, found a way upstairs to isolate Mezzi.
Vitality playing lower, super thorough. You can see the caution that Rob's had.
These are the weird spots you find Na'Vi in that you just don't really see as often from everyone else, and it's kind of hard to search them out. You know, maybe everyone would have normally crossed the secret and found just a place to chill there, or they'd start to peel back to the lobby. Options are wide open.
It's not like Vitality have been inactive this time. They sent Rops lower to clear it out. He's now very close to Alexi, just misses the timing. But that could open a window for Rops.
Yeah, but he's missed this and feels like he has
Finds it.
information. Oh, that's a big punish.
More concerned about up top. Now suddenly Zywoo won't have that support. He's gonna get compromised. Mezzi turns, and he's gonna at least kill the Heaven player.
The molly's bad.
Vent, the jump up denied.
Oh.
Not this time, not twice, not again. Na'Vi 1 round shy.
Let's go, Na'Vi. Looking tough out here.
Putting the squeeze on that A site, nice
Again.
and slow.
From those spots, looking comfortable, looking confident, catching the punishes. Back on Mirage, it was Na'Vi who didn't have info, and it was Vitality who were taking everything and forcing them to hunt, but they weren't doing it. Now Vitality are the ones looking around in a few of these spots. Blade immediately jumping to another timeout. Right now, outside cross is causing problems for them, and they played secret 1 or 2 times versus these rifles, but it hasn't always actually worked. So we'll see. The easiest solution, the most direct solution, is to start secret, try to get a peek off, see if there's people outside, or catch a lurker. Oh, but that's a pause.
Yes, sir.
That's followed by a save here. An MP9 for Rops.
We haven't had these kinds of rounds go Vitality's way this series. Na'Vi has dodged these tragedies effectively. Bit's waiting for the push. Flamesy doesn't look like he wants to overstep that yellow line. Keeps himself tucked in.
Played the spots once before, but it's supported by the Raptors player.
A little bit of shoulder, sets it up. It's a Rops casualty trying to push from ramp. Flamesy, though, will give Vitality a glimmer of hope on this one.
Don't let it be an eco.
Nemez looking to wrap around Zywoo. Zywoo's ready! They have effectively won these rounds until now. Maybe 50 seconds for Na'Vi to still recover.
It looks like he knows the game plan entirely. He's running outside.
It's an AK for Zywoo. He's gonna move that rifle, and as he's in transition, It is going to yet again have to be those pistols from within this A site. It is a good amount of ramp control as well for Vitality. JL is trying to slip up, and as he does, Flamesy's gonna collect it. Not like this, not with Heartbreak. And again, Alexi into the action, but they've not gotten this player off top hut. They're gonna find them on both sides. The AK-47 still out there in the mix, and Apex on the lurk. Blocked by fire, bomb goes down. They have evened this out, but Wonderful is barely alive. 1 point of health. With Alexi on the backside, does he have them nervous? Can Alexi keep them scared?
He got Zywoo in the back.
I don't think so.
Oh. They pulled it off.
A costly mistake. Just as Na'Vi felt like they got the ball rolling.
Ooh, that one's gonna sting. I'm surprised they wanted to keep trying to go back upstairs, especially when it was this Flamesy Mezzy setup, and they saw both. They didn't know about Zywoo, so maybe that was a worthwhile risk, but ooh, that one's just gonna hurt. That one's just gonna, the Major's on the line here. They made this comeback happen. They got that other eco out. Now Xtaz is amped about it. One timeout left for Vitality. Might be Blade's last chance to speak. Mental resilience is what won the Major for Na'Vi back in Copenhagen. That's what they need to tap into now. They're the guys who work overtime, extra hours. They know that they're always going to fight from behind versus these more stacked lineups in terms of talent. 5 top 20 players versus none right now here. David versus Goliath, and they are this close to bringing us to map 3.
Luckily for Na'Vi, still working with the buy. They have found success outer. Will they try to take it there again? You're not going to find Apex in the corners of the red box. Not gonna find him trying to test you around the sides of main. He is in the open floor of garage with that op not too far off. Wonderful does not get a chance to clip him, but he's gonna have to cover main. And he lets the contact happen. His gun is empty. He forgot to reload after the spray. No way you just let that happen. Apex, this round is all about a recovery now, and instead he is a sitting duck. Critical error at an important juncture in this second half.
Rob's looking for lurks. He's actually in a spot to catch ramp off. JL, does he hard clear this?
He's not looking the right way, and his barrel's full exposed.
It's the perfect move. It's a gift here. Apex, that mistake.
Zywoo and Mezzy to save it. But it looks like Vitality have just delivered a gift to Na'Vi. Question is, did he cancel the animation? Did he just forget to reload? And he may have gotten the 1 kill, but he knew he let a second player cross. And in doing so, tries to change position, gives himself up to Wonderful, gives outer over to Na'Vi.
Yeah, well, this totally makes up for that last round. Absolutely. Defends against map point. Wonderful to take out Zywoo. 1 player left here in Mezzy. A chance for Na'Vi once again. Felt like it was over for a second. Apex just missed them coming through the smoke on the side of Mini as well. And if he had even got that bullet off before his teammate died inside of Mini, it would have still been fine.
Double digits secured.
All right, let's go.
And Apex better be able to find his nerve after that one.
Best recent success for Na'Vi is taking the Spirit to overtime, and I think losing on Nuke.
One bullet, gets the kill.
Wow.
Gun is empty.
Oh.
I mean, that's even worse.
Yeah.
If he misses with the 1 shot he had.
Oh.
But he knows.
Yeah.
And then we saw, because of it, Rob's not allowed to focus over onto Trophy. Disbelief across the board for Vitality. Na'Vi still within touching distance of Vitality's lead.
Shoulder the blame for that one. No op in play. We got Flamesy on the MP9. Rob's on a FAMAS here.
Gonna let Zywu try to be the front runner outer. Nothing's gonna stop them from getting some kind of footing down towards Secret already. Anybody else take a swing at it? No, no more spam, no more challenge on these smokes. It's 2 players locked in with a route towards B, but Bomb's still back on Alexi.
Been loving Na'Vi in these positions 5v5, getting the outside cross secured. Got Apex copying and pasting his position from last rounds. They have to get the double ramp going because Apex is not in a good spot to rotate. He's a great spot to cover outside, cover the lurks that can take place, and help Mezzi on upper. But he can't really move from here safely. So right now, Zywu floating around help. There's a lot of pressure on him as a loose piece to rotate, get some info back in case Apex needs it. 45 seconds. They might actually go into Apex's plan.
Oh, Wonderful could have had an opening kill. Zywu dancing with death here as, again, he's trying to offer up utility.
Apex gonna love to see that smoke. If no one crosses, he's got full vision of it. Zywu's now making the rotate downstairs.
Emas sitting and wait. This is forced Na'Vi down. Zywu trying to scramble for some sort of positioning. In some way, he has to cut them off. Bomb is going to approach Sight from the other side. Zywu goes down with nothing. Famas here in Robs' hand to at least get the trade back onto Bit. It's vent control for FlameZ. Instantly bests Ema, and on the hunt between the lurkers. Mezzi looking to lock horns with JL, trying to get this road down to the B site. Both of these players will eventually be needed. At the moment, it is Apex with the kit.
Oh, he tricked him.
Mezzi gets it up, 4v2, cut back by 1. You want to clutch Wonderful, now's your time. A highlight reel moment, but a missed shot does not bode well. The no-scope does. And if he had hit that one in the backside, it's a desperate defuse from Apex. Instead, Vitality take 12.
Another great round call on the setup. Apex, this is one of those moments where you can have that smoke on Mini, but it can be used against you if you aren't actually going forward with the play. They didn't need to throw that down. They used it as a fake, and because Apex played back fake garage again, Zywu got in early, and Robs is right behind him. Even though Zywu doesn't get a kill, they had 2 chances to win.
That's the moment that could have been for Wonderful.
And also, Mezzi tricks JL. Looks like he's going out wide. Comes back.
Mezzi turning into the MVP of this match at the moment.
Fast cross for him again.
Stepping up to help Zywu, who's propped them up with so many frags. We're going towards ramp here. Na'Vi on the brink of an elimination.
Apex running for this to help out Robs. Does he need any help?
Robs is dead instantly by Bit. The headshot crisp. Worried about somebody else in these corners. There's nobody home towards ramp. FlameZ with an angle over from single. But this whole pack of Na'Vi players on the approach.
Oh,
Ema gets caught.
He got it. First bullet.
Good on him to at least reopen the single door control for the side of Na'Vi. Bit of spam comes out from Mezzi. Gonna have to make this happen with a man disadvantage.
Look at the money, though.
Do they save?
Yeah, I don't even think they want to go for this.
Do we go round 24?
We go round 24, folks. Incredible here for Na'Vi. Great shot from Bit to take out Robs like that.
Much needed instant kill out of Bit, and it's not like he's
So
been taking
solid.
over. And I'm not just talking about this map, I'm talking about this season.
And this is why you can have a style. You can be slow, you can be defaulty, but you have to throw in tempo changes. Otherwise, people are not going to use their pre-mollies and nades too often. And right here, Na'Vi come out with a ramp hit so quickly. Every other round we've seen from them has been taking red control, getting Emma on the cross outside, and they still managed to do both. That's just beautiful play here. Emma has only 10 kills, but he's been so successful at taking Secret, using that against Vitality, really stressing the rotations. And they've been isolating these places to one player. Robs here inside of ramp. When Apex is running in. Mezzi on upper, that first round that started this comeback. Na'Vi are getting the isolation fights. And that's even a spot where if Robs gets one, it's still hard for him to get a second. They've got so many players ready to trade.
Final timeout. Xtaz saved it, but you open a door for Blade to fine-tune the system.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, it has been a great tapestry of T-side rounds here to watch for Na'Vi. They put together a very solid game plan. I'm seeing a lot of confidence from them in the reads and the setups. And there is tons of pressure now on Vitality to answer back.
Na'Vi yet again here at a major to defy all odds. a mere 5 rounds CT side. They take to the attack. Alexi B exceeds all expectations statistically on this map. 24th round of regulation. Come on, Austin, make some noise! Edge of our seats for this one, and Apex wants in on action. Again, just constantly trying to block off these smokes.
Did he miss those?
Yeah.
Yes, no, he hit it, yep.
Well done, there's the effect. And when Secret has been so instrumental to Na'Vi.
This just saves you so many nades. They'll throw another set of cross smokes here. It's gonna be mirroring another round that they played earlier. A round that they won, by the way.
Sure.
That's the one where they isolated Mezzi upstairs.
Costs more utility. ZywOo off the leash. Him and Robs. What better duo could you ask for to win such a critical round? And as they take over trophy, the rest of Vitality also inching ever closer to this challenge. But the numbers are here for Na'Vi as well.
Now, the late ramp rotations that have come in before, this is preemptive. They've got him in such a good spot.
Flamesy trying again. Robs on trophy. They're going to try to time it so that they both attack at the same time. JL thinking about going for the swing.
It's so hard to coordinate.
Right, who's gonna go first? Oh, with a nade. JL is lucky to be standing as he almost got toppled with a nade out.
They're killing the clock. 35 seconds now. Na'Vi have to make a choice.
Flamesy's in the same corner he's played in the past. Wonderful right here in hut. Meanwhile, 8th floor falls. Na'Vi get the entry. Mezzi, backside. The anchor. Vitality's king. He sits here as Bit responds. The headshot Hunter only gets the 2. And so now it is on Ime. And with 15 seconds, he's got to somehow grab that bomb. We've got low health on Mezzi. And they end it. Right here. Right now. The Na'Vi Nation crumbles. Vitality one step closer to the crown jewel. This team is built on greatness. And greatness knows no bounds.
Absolutely amazing work here, Vitality, in the final moments. Na'Vi tried and worked so hard to bring that to fruition. But who other than Mezzi to get the final word in that game? Amazing performance from the one UK player here on the stage. Absolutely amazing gameplay from the perspective of mechanics, anchoring map to map. He had even more to give, you could see it. That was crystal clean rifling.
Listen, we are all here to sing the praise of Robs and his ability to unlock Vitality into winning ways. But this series, even though ZywOo propped up Nuke early, Mezzi on the brink of surpassing him by the end of it after rock-solid defense back on Mirage. Give a bow, Vitality. What a win.
What a win indeed. And Apex, they've been yelling at you the whole game, calling you names. What do you want to say to them?
That's all you can say. Ooh, fuck you, Apex. Ooh.
Listen, they might say that, but you see the signs there. Love you, Apex. Maybe Apex isn't a bad guy. That's their true feelings.
Yeah, that's okay. They can say whatever they want. I don't give a fuck once again. Just scream on us, boo us, do whatever you have to do. I don't give a fuck once again.
It doesn't matter to you guys. What does matter is, I guess, how you react in the server. And I want to ask you specifically about how you motivate your guys, because Flamesy on Mirage did not have a good start. And what are the kind of things you say to someone in that moment under that pressure to make sure that they're on again?
Well, yeah, I think Mirage and both maps were pretty close, but we stayed calm and focused on Mirage, and we made the comeback possible slowly and won, did a really good T-side. And then on Nuke, we played a bit scared, I would say. We let them a bit too much space, and then they could do whatever they wanted. So that was a bit hard for us to defend the bomb site, and yeah. But then we won. What a crazy run from Mezzi last round, and feels good to be in semifinal.
Absolutely. Good round by Mezzi. You also made them miss their smoke, so it was all going well. Mao's up next. You've played them so many times, but it looks like maybe they've turned a new page, kicking out Spirit. How do you feel about that matchup here?
Yeah, I think of course we have a bit out of mental hedge on them, which is normal, but it's a major and you never know what can happen. So I think they delivered really well yesterday. They played a really crazy game. And for sure, the last 6 games will not count on tomorrow for us. We're not gonna get this extra confidence or whatever. We're gonna give our best to go to the final.
I eyes on the prize. Thank you very much, Apex.
Yes, yes, it's true. I'm standing here with the side of Navi. I do believe there were some Navi fans in attendance today, and this does end their run in Austin. JL, how goes it, man?
We let you down, but you showed up for both the teams. You cheered for both, so thank you for that. It was amazing to play in this arena. And what's the question?
Tell me how it's going. Obviously, you've just taken a big L here on the stage, Mr. JL.
Yeah, it's a huge L. Yeah, the L in the JL stands for loser. Hey, you take some wins, you take some losses. Yeah, we played well. I enjoyed the game actually, but it wasn't enough.
How hard is this Vitality squad? What is it that's making them so ferocious?
Today. Maybe on the other days they were a bit better, but yeah, we played worse than them and they won.
And so for this side of Navi, obviously this ends your run in Austin, but I want to ask you, what's the difference between this Navi and the Navi of old?
This Navi and who?
The Navi of old, the one that picked up a major in Copenhagen.
I feel like the opposition was a little bit weaker. I mean, for sure we play better now. We're more prepared, but yeah, the opposition is just really hard, and we're in a bit of a slump right now. But yeah, we made quarterfinals. That's a bad result.
That's about the way it goes. Hey, JL, a whole bunch of people standing around here. A whole bunch of people want to hear what you have to say. Ain't that right, Texas? Does that sound about right? So let's do it. Quiet, please.
Thank you all for being here. Honestly, this was one of the best experiences ever. We only played one game here, but you for sure showed up, and I hope you show up for the other teams as well, because today was a banger. Thank you.
Thank you very much, JL. That's Navi.
If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And Navi falls short of that task. It goes the full 24 rounds, but heroic play from Mezzi seals the fate of Vitality. Yet another semi-final, potentially grand finals berth for the black and yellow squad. We've got Zawu up here to celebrate yet another win on
It's
your
the
record.
Austin
First of all,
Majors, dude. It's the last of the
congratulations. Let's
last.
start off.
Vitality just beat
Obviously. I just want to start off there. JL just said you looked beatable today.
Vitality just beat Navi.
I think he was right.
Yeah?
And I don't think we played the A game we want to show, to be honest. And we were a bit shaky on some rounds. That's why
So right now it goes Mouse versus Vitality and Pain Gaming versus I think FaZe and FaZe Clan and Mongols are gonna be going next. And I think FaZe is gonna win that.
What do you think that is with the Navi game plan? Because that was one of the first times I feel like on their T side, your CT side on Nuke, where they actually had you guys scrambling a little bit. Like you didn't always know what was coming next. It felt like.
I feel like they play a lot of rotation. They tried to like put pressure down, like secret. We didn't really know if 1, 2, 3 guys secret, like come back inner or main. So it was a bit tough for us to know that. So I think we missed like team move to try to take info, to try to make a move to know what they're gonna do. And I think we missed that. And yeah, they were pretty annoying to play, to be honest.
Talk to me about your boy, your teammate Mezzi. He had and obviously, I mean, the closing round was absolutely disgusting. But I mean, even go back to Mirage, she got put in some pressure clutches in the first 4 rounds, delivered for you guys there. I don't know. It's got to feel like you just have a safety net behind you at all times.
Yeah, maybe he didn't show on the scoreboard, but I think all the round he did, it was really insane. Like he pulled a really important round, like the
Like
one
30 minutes.
Even on Nuke, he was kind of alongside. He killed 3 or 4, I don't remember, but that's what we need as well to one of
30 minutes to Dallas, like
I mean,
3 hours
have
from
one guy
Houston.
Like this, not maybe thinking about only scoreboard and be able to win some kind of round like this. So I think he did a really good job today.
Yeah, look at him shine here. Look at him
really
I get it.
He's moving with mouse too, guys. You need to move in that. Think about that.
He's moving with mouse too. What a freak.
Insane. It was
Have you
insane.
yelled
So
at him about that
unnatural.
yet? Tell him Quake's dead. We don't need to be playing it anymore.
Yeah. I tried to play on this config. Actually, you lost your mind.
I want to know, you guys called a timeout at
Yeah,
what was it,
okay, dude.
12-11. I think Xtaz got on the mic. What kind of stuff what kind of wisdom is he imparting in those moments? What's he saying?
Like, it's kind of like to stay, like, not humble, but to stay in the game because we are trying to get comeback time this time and just to not be focused about the scoreboard and be focused on the present because it's a fucking major and the pressure can be on us when you're leading like this. So just being like this, just being on the present, not thinking of the scoreboard. It could be 29 or 12-9 for them. We don't care about that. Just play round by round.
I gotta
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
I gotta ask you, just because I haven't even talked to you about this. I mentioned it in the pregame before the series began. When I was at HLTV, the award show this year, Apex told me that secretly you were pretty pissed last year that you weren't involved in the conversation, that you weren't even like really entered into the competition. So is that a goal for you this year? I know historically you've always been like, I don't care about being number one. I don't care about beating anyone else out. But hearing it from Apex, was that something that you felt in the back of your head, like next year I'm gonna get him?
I will say yes. I will say yes. When in HLTV Award, I will be pissed when I see number 3 because I was not used to it. And in my mind, I was just like, I will get this year. I will get it.
Yeah.
No matter what, I will get it.
Good, man. I think you accomplished it.
You're on path.
Yeah, I think
for sure.
we can actually just call it right now.
Yeah, might as well. Just end the season out right now. Zoe, you mentioned the word pressure just a minute ago when you were talking about that Na'Vi game. Considering that you've been on, like, you've been in every single grand final. You've won every single grand final. There's been a match win streak on the line. There's been the Grand Slam on the line as well. Tell me about how much pressure was on the line today, maybe compared to some of those other moments. Did you actually feel it today?
I would say it was even less than the Grand Slam major. Grand Slam, I mean, because you could feel it was, the opportunity we had in Melbourne was really rare, but this time, like, I think we had the pressure when we almost end the game. I won't say we had pressure starting the game, like in Melbourne, but this time we have the pressure of the major, obviously, but I won't say like it's the biggest pressure I had. I think Paris was even worse.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So already at this tournament, Monasi's gone, Donk's gone, but a new, but I'd say familiar challenger is approaching in Simple. What does it mean to see him on the other side of the bracket, and what would you think about a collision course with you two in the grand finals?
I think it will be a great final. I mean, that's a possibility like to play in final, I think. So I think it's going to be a great show. I think everyone is excited to see it. So hopefully we got there and hopefully we play against him. And now, to be honest, for now we are focused on get Mouse because it's going to be the next challenge for us. So I'm not too much focused about FaZe for now. Obviously the next focus is Mouse, and let's see.
Cool. If you actually do end up in that final against him and you just dumpster him and you just destroy him in terms of numbers and everything, do you think you just take it from him at that point?
I don't know. I mean, it's also tough for him. I guess it's the one tournament since 2 years, so I don't expect anything, to be honest. Yeah, he can destroy us. He can destroy him. So that's why he was one of the best players as well. So we need to expect that also for him.
I need to actually load up all my magazines. They're all unloaded right now. So it just makes the vest lighter.
On the horizon, very familiar opponent going your way every single time this year. Do you think they look like...
You can go to the gym.
They looked a little bit shaky, right? Obviously the performance versus Spirit yesterday, an amazing comeback, but
also, you didn't check out this little new thing that I got, bro. Look at this.
Do you think they're the same mouths that you've had to face in, grand finals?
Magazine. That's a magazine. You put in your fire control unit there, and then watch this. This is freaking cool.
And to be strong as a team as well, because everyone can live easily the game. So I think the mindset is really there. They're ready to fight every game for the major. So, but for me, it doesn't matter if we beat them for 6 times in a row or whatever. I think the major is different. So I think for us, it's just gonna be the new game plan. So that's how gonna be our mindset. It's the freaking major, so it doesn't matter.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go to the gym. I will be back.
Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations once again. Guys, give it up. Zywoo! An absolute masterclass on stage today, and a very well-deserved spot in that semi-finals.
Yeah,
like
deer
it's a
hunting.
date with destiny, the fact that they're going to be facing Mouse in that semi-final, maybe an opportunity to face FaZe in that grand final. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Getting a little bit ahead of yourself, but it's understandable.
The script is just so beautiful.
I know.
Can you blame me?
It's all lining up to look like it could just be an absolute excellent finish to the major. I don't know. I like
boar hunting's more of a thing here in Texas.
Now that he's playing this way in 2025, like finally just being the badass of Vitality, but then he's still humble when you hear him talk on the desk, or I'm just like, there's kind of a cool element to that where like you're humble, but I can kind of see a little bit of cockiness in that humble nature of you.
I mean, he doesn't even expect anything really of Simple or FaZe going into that grand final.
Like
I mean, it was of course getting ahead of ourselves to bring it up, but we don't get many opportunities to talk to a guy that's vying for GOAT. So have to get every single piece of information we can.
I liked his take on that Mao's question as well, like because you could say on one side, yeah, they look shaky, they don't look like themselves that we've seen going in those semifinals and grand finals previously. But he brings up a really good point that mentality is clearly so strong for Mouse if they've managed to come back from those deficit situations that they found themselves in so many times.
I like his statement that the major is just different. Like, it doesn't matter if we have this kind of streak against them. That's a nice talking point for us up here. But as a player, once you get to the major, those matches, they change everything. I mean, I think you could even see it in Vitality. Like, I don't think Vitality's losing to Legacy at, you know, I don't know, I Am Dallas, at Blast Rivals, Blast Show, whatever it is. He's not losing to him in those events, but the major gets here, and yeah, you can get caught off guard. If you take your eye off the ball, another team is going to take that step forward. So I just like that sentiment that he knows the major is just too much stakes and too much consequences to take a game for granted.
Yeah, I think Mouse are going to be in the head-to-head, the bookmakers' closest underdog to Vitality. But really, the pressure of the grand final, if they get there, is probably going to be really their truly biggest enemy throughout the rest of these playoffs, even if they're facing a FaZe Clan, even if they're facing a Mongols that seems to be powering up.
I feel like we've had this tradition of, kind of giving Vitality a grade after pretty much every single one of their series. Was that Vitality's A game on the server today?
I would say I would probably go with maybe A-, but we really, what the thing is that was a Na'Vi A+ for me.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the best I've seen from Na'Vi all season.
Which doesn't bode well.
For Na'Vi it doesn't, but for Vitality it bodes incredibly well. They were tricked on a lot of those rounds. Individuals had to claw them back. They were winning with tactical outplay, and if they were losing in the tactics, they were winning with individuals at times. So they had both sides of the equation when it comes to winning CS.
Yeah, close but no cigar, unfortunately, for the side of Na'Vi. So let's get a few closing thoughts, courtesy of James Banks.
Na'Vi put up a fight and certainly tried to come back there in the end of Nuke, but it isn't meant to be, and the run ends here at the quarterfinals. First of all, commiserations to you, Alexi. I know how much you wanted this, and how confident you were feeling before the game. I'm going to try and cast your mind back to Mirage. I would say, right, in the first parts, maybe the first like 13, 14 rounds, it looked like you were doing the right things, like you had them. Then the CT side starts to let you down. I'm wondering just what it was like from your perspective. Was there a disconnect, or you guys not playing off each other the way you wanted to? Was it just them being better?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. So just didn't play off of each other. We won the pistol the round after, and the first gun round, I just think that we played a very sloppy round. After that, we managed to win a gun round, and since I think they just won every round. And, you know, I didn't have a good look at it. I was jumping on B, and they ended up getting like these untraded entries. I just think we got maybe caught off guard a little, but also maybe we didn't have the plan on how to exactly fight them. We were more like saying on TeamSpeak, like, what are we holding, but we were not necessarily saying like what we should be doing if they make a move. Okay. And the guys were speaking about some timings also after the game. I didn't want to focus too much on that because I still knew that, you know, 2 maps remaining and you can't dwell on the past. Yeah. But yeah, just they just ended up playing better in the end.
Talking about you saying them playing better, right? On Nuke, at the beginning, yes, they looked like they were playing better, but you guys were fighting back on this T side. It seemed like you were making the right calls and you were getting into the right situations. How comfortable did it feel at one point for you guys? Like you could do this? Was that full belief in it?
No, it felt very good. Yeah. We also knew that we have some rounds up our sleeve that's gonna surprise them. You know, I still feel like I should be playing overtime on the stage. Like, kudos to Messi. What an amazing last round by him. Yeah, I felt like we put a fight back. They were running with the momentum on the CT side, but we clawed back and ended up making the comeback, and we played solid, I would say. But yeah, ended up losing, and that's all that matters. So now we're out.
That is the end of the season for now, right, for you guys. Looking at this, you were the best team in 2024. You had this amazing run, so many deep runs and playoffs. I can see from your reaction already, right? Now, you look at this, and I'm sure in your minds it's not good enough. Maybe in Na'Vi's minds as well. Your overall thoughts on the season, like, can you just give me that?
I'm proud of the boys. Like, in the end, like at the end of the day, we worked super hard. So many travel days. Countless of hours of us just being together, and you know, it's been almost 2 years now since I joined Na'Vi and since I've been with the core of the team. And yeah, we fought. We had our peaks, had our lows. Not gonna be too naive. I think something's gonna happen after this. Yeah, but we just have to wait and see. You know, now we have to calm our heads, accept the fact that we we thought we did our best, but now just looking into the future and let's see what happens.
And I don't want to sound cold-hearted when I say this, that, you know, I enjoy hearing Alexi B exit interviews because they're always so insightful. Even immediately out of the game, it feels like he's done that post-match analysis already. He knows exactly what went wrong. And my heart bleeds for him when he says, you know, I feel like we should be playing overtime up on that stage right now.
Yeah, anyone who's competed or played, that one hurts. That one's like a dagger in the heart because you know that feeling. Yeah, that one's rough. You know, it's funny because I actually took a little bit of a different angle. I got the sense that Alexi was sort of grasping at straws in that interview of what went wrong, right? Like maybe we don't have the plan. Maybe like these 2 untraded entries. He's talking about Zaiwu coming up con. Maybe we didn't have the plan. Maybe we get caught off guard. He's kind of trying to search because I think he echoes the same sentiment of JL, that this was a team that felt beatable today and felt mortal today where otherwise they haven't looked it, and he's kind of scrambling in his mind to find where they missed the chance to take control of the game.
And that's been the story of Na'Vi for this entire year, even extending into what happened at the Shanghai Major for them to try to relive or recapture what made them the most dominant team in the middle of 2024 has been a task that has just been too tall for Blade and Alexi B. And so at this point, though, like that ending statement for you, do we all hear that?
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy. I mean, we kind of knew the writing was on the wall there, that Na'Vi are looking for some kind of change, but that really might just be the last time we see this iteration of Na'Vi in the server.
I was going to ask you, to put your Na'Vi managerial hats on and give me, what would be your solution? Would you be making changes? Is a quarterfinals enough for this iteration of Na'Vi? Or, because I feel like all season long we've been saying, okay, are they going to make changes in the lead up to the major? That time passed, right? They couldn't do it. Is this now the opportunity to do so?
I mean, I think it would be, obviously, because obviously every major there's a massive free agency, or people are shopping around, players and teams are shopping their guys around to see what they can get. So I think those changes, it's always nice to say this team wants to make changes, but then the other side of that coin is who can they get? Is it actually a meaningful upgrade? Is it going to change the results? Is it going to change the way they play to make that kind of a change? Something does feel different and frayed when I see this Na'Vi versus the Na'Vi of last year. I can't quite put my finger on it, to be honest with you. I think the bigger question for Na'Vi is the conversation of where does this team go? Like, what changes would you want to make? How does this team want to look different in how they play? Do they want to go the route that everyone else is going and look for firepower? Do they want to stick with this more system-based strategic Counter-Strike? That argument over like the soul of what Na'Vi's going to be moving into the future is far more important than who they're going to pick up.
Go on, pick a side, Jason. Pick a side. What should they do?
I mean, I've already kind of mentioned. I think firepower is the king. I think you have to make a change and you have to kind of move forward with it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple options that are floating right now in the air. One is that they have a rising prodigy in Makaze, who's on their academy team, who definitely could be seen as an upgrade for somebody like Ema. Maybe if Heart's not in it right now. I don't really buy that JL's not in it. I feel like JL's playing really as well as he can in the system that's created around him. But I feel like there's other kind of more left field options that are out there. Simple is still technically on loan from Na'Vi, and as far as I know,
that's very left field.
It's till the end of the year, and really, in some of these big moments for Na'Vi, like, you need that X-Factor opper that's going to get you over the line. And I'm sorry, Wonderful has had so many opportunities to show that for the past 9 months, and he's putting up good numbers, so it's hard to call him out.
That would